And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Sydney in the last leg of his three-nation tour. The Prime Minister arrived in Australia late on Monday, and today he has a busy day ahead of him. He is already engaging with Australian CEOs, while with individual meetings and business heads are also lined up. He will also be interacting with a select group of Australian influencers. In the afternoon, the Prime Minister will be attending a community event where he will address the Indian diaspora. In his bilateral with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, wide-ranging discussions are likely to happen, including on the issue of recent anti-India propaganda and vandalization of religious places.
Is this secession movement of Khalistan kind of dangerous for Australia as it is for India? What are the security aspects or the sharing of information with Australia going on? And how important it is for Australia to understand where it is going?
I've clearly mentioned to you that it would be not correct for me not to prejudge in any way what the two leaders discuss. But I've also mentioned to you that insofar as questions relating to harmony and safety and security of our two societies, they have always been discussed, periodically been discussed between the two systems. How those talks are positioned between the two leaders, we will brief you in detail after those talks are over.
Now, before meeting Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave an interview to the newspaper The Australian, in which he spoke on length about the India-Australia relations to the next level by identifying new areas of complementariness and expanding cooperation. Apart from seeking a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated greater cooperation on defence and security matters.
He has a very substantive round of bilateral discussions with Prime Minister Albanese. We'll be following up on discussions that went on with Prime Minister Albanese when he was in India 2 months ago in March. We expect some outcomes and announcements that I'm sure the media will hear about going forward. The relationship between India and Australia is very, very strong. It's been developing very rapidly in the last few years. And with Prime Minister Albanese, he's already met him 5 times. I think this will be the 6th time when he meets him after reaching Australia. They've done the Quad Leaders Summit as well, twice together. They've met in Bali, they've met in Delhi, they've met in various places, in Tokyo even earlier. So the relationship has developed extremely well.
Now, just when Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Sydney, it was a sight to behold. The Indian diaspora was filled with happiness and chanted Har Har Modi and Modi praised. This is how Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the Indian diaspora. He shook hands with all of them and greeted them and thanked them for coming and meeting and lining up at the airport since morning. Not just this, the Indian diaspora described Narendra Modi as an inspiring force for India's good.
लास्ट टाइम वो जब आए थे 2014 में तब हम उनसे मतलब दूर से देखा था हम लोगों ने और दिस टाइम हमें उनको मतलब बहुत नज़दीक से मिलने को दिखा तो हम लोग बहुत एक्साइटेड हैं।
हम बहुत बेसब्री से उनकी राह देख रहे हैं और हम मराठी एसोसिएशन सिडनी की तरफ से हम लोग आए उनको वेलकम करने के लिए।
प्रधानमंत्री जी चाहे इंडिया के प्रधानमंत्री के पर हम सभी के दिलों पर राज करते हैं। इन ऑल वेटिंग फ्रॉम हिम। मैं 36 साल से यहाँ पे हिंदी स्कूल चला रही हूँ और हालांकि मैं उनको मिल चुकी हूँ प्रीवियसली लेकिन PVDs में जहाँ पर उन्होंने मुझे सम्मान पत्र का अवार्ड कर दिया था।
Once in a lifetime opportunity. Mala is my mentor and I'm very excited to see him.
Hi, I'm Aditya. I'm from West Bengal, so Kolkata, but I'm also from Sydney, and I'm just really excited to meet Modi ji. It's really a once in a lifetime experience.
For more on this, we have Srinjoy live with us. Srinjoy, this is the day 2 of PM Modi's visit to Australia, and he has already begun his day with several meetings lined up with Australian CEOs.
Yes, it's bound to happen. And it's very, very important that this meeting with the CEOs goes well, because India and Australia are really the future for a variety of reasons. One, because of the rise of China and the aggression that you see from China in the South China Sea, in the Indo-Pacific. India and Australia are now really partners, not just partners in a economic sense, but strategic partners, defense partners. Politically, they are very close, which is why Australia and India are part of the Quad. Australia and India are part of exercise Malabar, the big naval exercise. Besides that, there is also a very strong economic relationship. And that's really the future, because Australia, it's often forgotten, has huge deposits of lithium. Now, lithium is the petroleum of the future, of the 21st century, because all these cars that India will manufacture in the future of electric vehicles, all of them will need batteries and all of them will need lithium. Where do you think the lithium is going to come from? It's going to come from Australia. Until then, for our steel plants and all these things, you will need coking coal. And where is the coking coal going to come from? It's going to come from Australia. But apart from that, it's the political relationship which is close. It's a strategic relationship that is close. There is a growing military relationship. There is, of course, a strong economic relationship. There is a people-to-people relationship. Let's not forget that the first foreign universities that are setting up shop in India.
All eyes will be on PM Modi, and he will also address the Indian diaspora in the afternoon. We'll be keeping a close eye on all the latest developments. Thank you for joining us.